My name's Sam. I like to make beats on the MPC One, sampling various different things. This is just a quick beat breakdown video of how I sampled one of the tracks from the Demon's Souls original soundtrack. So the track I chose to sample off this original soundtrack is called One Who Craved Souls. It's a big piano-y piece, and I just thought it really worked for this track because I wanted to go a sort of 95 BPM hip-hop route, and I thought the pianos and the strings of it all would tie together quite nicely. This is what the sample sounds like straight up on its own. Once I'd done that and cut it up onto the pads, I decided to turn it up to 6 semitones and then just play around and come up with some sort of melody of my own that would work, and it turned out like this. So once I got the melody I wanted, I decided to add some drums. Again, much like using the sample, I didn't do too much with it. I just added an air flavor and an air lo-fi preset just to add a bit more grit and make them sound just a bit more like old school hip hop dusty drums kind of thing. Now that the drums were in, it was time to add some bass. I added a mother ducker to the bass so that the kick could punch through. Now, although the sample, the drums and the bass were all kind of working nicely together, it seemed like it was still lacking a bit of emphasis on what I thought would be the strings. So I decided to add a violin preset off the MPC's standalone plugins, and it sounds like this. Now that I added those strings in, this sequence started to really come together, and this is how it sounded. So now that that sequence was what I would consider done, I decided to make a new sequence to try and mix it up. Obviously I didn't want the beat sounding exactly the same all the way through. So I went back to the sample and decided to chop up different parts of it and come up with a new sort of melody that I could use for a break. And although this was good, I found that there was one particular chop in that sample that I really wanted to use. It was kind of this scratchy, really fast violin. I felt like I really needed to put it in the beat somewhere. Once I'd added that in, I decided to again go back, add some bass in, add the drums, add the violins, and this is how it sounded. So now that I was happy with those two sequences, I decided to make an intro. For this, I used voice lines from the actual game, which is from Yuria the Witch.
Soul of the mind, key to life's ether. Soul of the lost, withdrawn from its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. So the world might be mended.
And to go along with these voice lines, I just needed to use the sample again. For this, I didn't go crazy at all. I just kept the sample in the exact order that it was, so not chopping it up in any kind of weird way. Obviously, still kept it pitched up 6 semitones to fit with the rest of it, and this is how it sounded. So the last few things I did was just mess with the levels a bit more, making sure nothing was standing out too much and making sure I could still hear things like the bass and the strings weren't too loud and all that kind of thing. Added an air maximizer and a compressor on my master bus like I usually do, and it turned out quite well. I'm really happy with it. So here's a snippet of what it sounded like in the end. Just wanted to say thanks for sticking around and watching this video. If you're interested in the other tracks that I've done on the Music from Software album, which is from all the Souls games I've sampled from, I've gone from Demon Souls, which is one you've just heard, all the way through Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro and Elden Ring. It's all on Spotify, it's all on that album, and hopefully you'll dig it. So yeah, I might do more of these in future. Thanks for watching.